their people in this Easter to come and have their congregations gathering to Parliament, because they also feel they want to make submissions. Traditional leaders throughout all provincial houses will send their people to Parliament to also want to make their submissions. And I would like to appeal to honorable members that the process of submissions, whether be orally or written, has already been adhered to. And today's program is for us to consider the report that has been tabled before us. Thank you.
Honorable Mandela, I hear you, and you are right. We have houses of traditional leaders. We have the National House. We have the Southern African Interfaith Council. We have South African Council of Churches. We have Southern African Bishops Conference. We have the Muslim Judicial Council. We have the Hindu associations. We have trade unions. Are we saying we are going to open for all the, and if we do so, it means we are starting the process afresh, and all that has happened has become to nil. So this is actually an unreasonable request, but let me allow Dr. Mimi Gondwe. She will be the last person, and then I will make a ruling.
Person, I've raised my hand a long time ago. I would ask you to
Dr.
Gondwe.
Dr. Gondwe.
Can you hear me, Ramotera? Ramotera?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I hear you. Proceed.
Yes, Ramotera, we are not trying to be difficult here. You will recall
Proceed.
The president. You will recall when
yes.
the president was at the CRC process around calling in submitters to come and substantiate their written.
Proceed.
I'm talking, sir.
She is proceeding.
Ramotera. Ramotera, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes,
yes, certainly.
We are not trying to be difficult here.
Proceed, I hear you.
Yes, sir, I'm trying to talk, but you keep interrupting me.
Just explain to them that we're having network problems, so bear with us.
Okay, so I'm going to proceed. Ramoterawe, I was saying that we're not trying to be difficult, and neither are we trying to derail. We are trying to point out where there was a precedent already set by the CRC process. And if you look at processes like NHI, there was an opportunity for submitters to come in and substantiate their written submissions. So all we are asking is that people who've made written submissions or organizations that have made written submissions be given an opportunity to come in. And Ramotera, you will know for judgments like Lamosa, Doctors for Life, they have set the bar very high for Parliament when it comes to enabling public participation, because that's one of our mandates as Parliament, to ensure that the members of the public are able to participate in our processes. And we want to make sure that this mandate, we enable it as far and as wide as we possibly can. So we're not trying to be difficult. There was a precedent already set with the CRC process. So all we are asking is that those that have made written submissions be allowed to come in and substantiate those written submissions. Happy, I beg your indulgence. Can Vonani kindly confirm how many written submissions did we receive? Because as you pointed out, Honorable Mapula went there And she came up with numbers, and Vonani promised he would come back and confirm how many written submissions were received, because she came back and told us that there were a number of submissions that were received on pro forma, document belonging to various organizations and parties. So we would like a confirmation around that. Thank you so much.
Doctor, as leaders, we must be loyal to our decisions. We decided on the program, and at the moment we are following our decision, and we must be loyal to that decision. And according to that decision, today we are gathered here to consider the revised report, and this is what we must do. And if we want to know how many submissions were made, that is a legitimate request, but that request cannot be entertained in this meeting, because Advocate Bonani is providing secretarial services to this committee. He cannot go and back to the office and count the number of submissions. So can we agree that we are all going to be loyal to our decisions? I am not imposing anything as the chairperson. I'm simply implementing the decisions of this committee, and I will remain loyal to the decisions of this committee. I have the last two hands, that is Honorable Gumede and Honorable Melda, and then we will go ahead and look at the revised report. Honorable Gumede.
Chair, I hope I'm clear. Chair, perhaps I want to concur with the views shared by other members of the committee, in the sense that people had, when the process started, people had options. It's either you submit a written report or you go to the public hearing and express your views. Chair, let me tell you, again, people had two options each. One could have submitted a written report, and secondly, go for the public hearing. That person would have benefited from both processes. I don't know the reason why people would then, after all processes are finished and completed, they want again to come back and begin to say, may then be once again heard. Chair, let me say that it's again, this is the temptation. People may begin to say things that are not part of the reports that they submitted. Part of their submissions, they may begin to reinvent the reports or the submissions that they submitted. It may not be a good thing to accept people that would have submitted, because you are quite correct, Chair, that it will mean you open up and you tell all others or people that would have submitted the written one or the public hearings, rather the oral submissions, to come back and make the presentation. But again, Chair, let me say, procedurally, we are not correct. Procedurally, we are not correct. We were in the process of considering the report. We haven't even started considering the report. The chair was interjected, and we are discussing the item that is not even part of the agenda. The person who raised this should in fact have requested that the chair considers including an item to discuss this item that we are discussing. We have in fact taken almost an hour discussing the item that is not part of the agenda. So, Chair, let's get back to the agenda and this item be put aside, and but the decision you are taking and other members is very correct. It's not part of the agenda. If perhaps it was raised during the process of discussing the report, it would have been better understood. But for now, it's just coming from nowhere and it's not part of the process. It's taking our time. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, Honorable Gumede is perfectly right that actually the meeting is out of order, and I allow comrades to talk because I don't want to be accused of making myself the committee. But I fully agree with Honorable Gumede that the meeting is out of order. This matter is not on the agenda. What is on the agenda is court. But I will allow Dr. Mulder and Honorable Shibambo to speak, and I'll make the ruling because the process must proceed. And I think there is sufficient consensus that we must proceed according to the agenda. But I will be tolerant of the deviation, which is procedurally wrong, as Honorable Gumede is saying. Dr. Mulder, I see Nkosi Mandela as well.
Yes.
I'll take those hands.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me make a few points in response to what we have discussed. First of all, you made the point that we have a date and a deadline set by Parliament. I understand that, but surely, when we are dealing with an amendment to the Constitution, a date set by Parliament should not be the ultimate judge in the sense whether we deal with a process that amends the Constitution technically correctly. So that's the first point I would like to make. The second point you made was, if we allow the banking society, what about all the other institutions of civil society that would like to come and make a representation to the committee? Now, I absolutely agree with you, and there is proven precedent in Parliament throughout all parliaments, since the first Parliament right through to the sixth Parliament. This has been the precedent in terms of how these kind of issues. We've asked for written permissions. Organizations would request the opportunity to come and give evidence in front of the committee. In other words, they would like to come and explain, and not only explain, sometimes in the written submission, they only give certain points, but they would like to elaborate and explain their position. Now, you point out that we cannot deal with that because you are sticking to the But with all due respect, Chairperson, you gave the opportunity to look into written submissions which happened last. It became clear that some organizations have requested the opportunity to come and give oral evidence in front of the committee. That's a development that we need to take into consideration. And obviously, what has happened in the past, committees would then have drawn up a list of people requesting to give oral evidence, and then the committee would discuss that and decide amongst ourselves, we are going to allow the following organizations to come to the committee and give oral evidence, ranging through the whole spectrum of society, traditional leadership, religious organizations, the business sector, etc., etc. So I'm absolutely in favor of that. I've got no problem with that. The problem is, Chairperson, if you are going to take the committee to a position where we are not going to allow organizations to give oral evidence, which they request us to do, it would set a new precedent, and it would be the first time in a committee, and this time dealing with the Constitution, where we are actually taking a decision that we are not going to allow people asked to come and give written oral evidence in front of the committee, that we decide we are not going to allow them. I plead with you to make that possible. I plead with you to look into the process and how we can achieve that. I hear you are planning to make a ruling on sufficient consensus. I do not accept sufficient consensus, Chairperson. If you want to take a decision that you are not going to allow people to come and give oral evidence, then I'm asking you to allow the parties to express their view in terms of a vote, because I feel very strongly against this, and I think you are setting a very bad example in terms of the whole process. We are amending the Constitution. It was correctly pointed out that our courts have set a very high bar in terms of public participation. And if we decide that we're not going to allow organizations, we run the risk of falling foul of the perceived law at this stage and the precedent that Parliament has set itself. I need to make a last point. You've said we should allow freedom of expression and freedom of speech. I accept that. I want to say I take very strong exception to Mr. Shivambu. I find it very strange that the EFF can't look at the world through any other glasses than racist glasses. To refer to white parties, that is a racist statement. And it's amazing to me that their outdated, failed socialist policies are always brought and be told to us that they are progressive. They're not progressive, they are archaic. So, Chairperson, I would propose that we allow people to come to Parliament, those who ask in terms of the organizations, to give oral evidence, and I would formally propose that we do that. Thank you, Chairperson.
Dr. Melda, I want to agree with you that deadlines by Parliament are not the alpha and omega. And that's why Parliament has been tolerant. They gave us 2 extensions. But at the same time, we must not abuse Parliament by failure to be loyal to our decisions. What we are doing in this meeting is to implement our own decision to adopt a program. And we are following a program that we unanimously agreed to. But also, you know, we should not address a need that has not arisen, because this need to hear additional voices has not actually arisen. The only request that we have received is from the Banking Association of South Africa. But why don't we move on, deal with the report, listen to the parliamentary legal services, and then at that stage, we can see, review the situation. But at the moment, there's no basis to review the situation. We must proceed. But I don't hold any brief for Honorable Shivambu. Honorable Shivambu spoke about liberalism. And liberalism is an ideology that is known, that exists. And there are Black or African liberals and white liberals. So if one refers to liberals, one is not being racist. With due respect, I think we should not go that route. And I will also appeal to Honorable Shivambu not even to entertain that, because he has not made any racist insinuations or suggestions.
Honorable Chairperson, on a point of order. Chairperson, on a point of order, unfortunately, you are wrong. Mr. Shivambu specifically referred to whites. He referred to whites. That is a racist statement, and I object to that.
White parties.
No. Let the chairperson address the matter. In South Africa, we talk about white and black people. So it's not Honorable Shivambu who created white society or black society. And all I'm saying is that there are black liberals and white liberals. Maybe we need another day. We need another day to discuss the politics of race. But I think here, Honorable Shivambu has not dealt with race. Honorable Shivambu?
No, thanks, Chair. No, thank you very much, Chair. We'll deal with these things. Like you've got a political party which has got 100% white members and doesn't want to be referred to as a white political party. But it's okay. We'll discuss that on a separate occasion. And this person who just spoke now, Mr. Melda, is not a member of this committee. You can't try to instruct us here.
I am a member of the committee. You should wake up.
But I'm speaking.
No,
I allowed you to speak. I allowed you to speak.
Yes, and you know, when I addressed this meeting last week, I said, even if you don't agree with people, allow them to finish what they want to say, because that is their own opinion and they're entitled to it. Proceed, Honorable Shivambu.
Chair?
No.
Chair? Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Chair, can you really run this meeting properly? Just allow the members to speak through you, not directly to one another. Otherwise, we are not going to really get to the business of the day. Thank you, Chair.
I agree with you, Honorable Nogu. That's why I say I've recognized Honorable Shivambu. Let him finish what he wants to say, and people must accept he has the right to express his own opinions. And I have given them time to express their own opinions. Honorable Shivambu, proceed.
No, I was just emphasizing the simple fact that an impression must not be created that this process has not been consultative and has not exhausted the consultation process. You must remember that we are here because of the first parliamentary resolution that established the Constitutional Review Committee, where we listened to people in communities and received oral presentations on the same question. And then after the Constitutional Review report was adopted, there was a specific resolution by Parliament in terms of what is the mandate of this committee, and which more or less went back to the communities to literally deal with the same question that was dealt with by the Constitutional Review Committee. There's never been, since 1994, been a thorough and deeper consultation process than this process has been defined. There's never been any other legislation or constitutional amendment process that has had an intensive consultation than this particular process thus far. So an impression must never be created that there was never consultation. It has been exhausted. We know who stands where. We know the views of all these formations. Even the Banking Association, by the way, came to the constitutional review submissions, made their submission. We know what they want to repeat in terms of all these issues. They've made an oral submission. They've made a written submission. We're not closing out anyone's view in terms of this process. We have an obligation now as elected representatives to take a decision on what must happen, what must be the way forward. We have listened to all the perspectives, but we need to ultimately finalize this particular process so that we amend the constitution. And we must not tiptoe around that because we're going to, we think that we must please minorities' insecurities. It's not our obligation. If people are insecure, it's their own challenge. Let us finalize this process and let's take it to its logical conclusion and leave the racists out of this process.
Honorable Mandela, you are last. Honorable
Thank
Mandela.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would like to reiterate, Honorable Chair, that we cannot open a separate platform for the elitist society in the Republic of South Africa. This process of public hearings and receiving oral submissions as well as written submissions was open for all citizens of the Republic. And now, just because a public hearing is set in Hammanskraal doesn't mean that the elitist banking society of Pretoria cannot go to Hammanskraal. This is a location that was decided upon by Parliament and afforded everyone an equal opportunity to come and present. It cannot be that through this ad hoc committee, Honorable Chair, we then separately afford an opportunity for the elitists and the haves in South Africa to be able to have their own process, which is separate from the masses of our people. I would like to call the honorable members to order and ensure that we adhere to an equal opportunity for all the interests of our people. I strongly object that after having done the work that is necessary to be done, we now want to open a separate platform for those that can afford to come to Parliament in their private jets and luxury planes and leave the masses of our people around the country who also want to have a second bite. This process has been dealt with and we have exhausted it, and would like to plead with you once again, Honorable Chair, that we proceed with the business of the day, that being the consideration of the report. I thank you.
Honorable members, I am not going to make a ruling on the basis of a vote or on the basis of a sufficient consensus. I want to make a ruling on the basis of procedure. Honorable Gumede has pointed out that actually the meeting is out of order because on our agenda, no one suggested that we amend the agenda to deal with any other matter other than consideration of the report. So I have a responsibility to be loyal to your decisions. And your decision is that today we're considering the report. So I'm not imposing anything. So I'm going to call upon Dr. Tuli to present the report. Dr. Tuli.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good morning to you and members of the committee. May I ask Bonani to fly to the report, please? Bonani?
Advocate Bonani?
Yes, I'm trying to do so.
Okay. Whilst he is trying to fly to Chairperson, let me just say, Chairperson, that last week we were asked by the committee to revise the program or the report in terms of the issues that were raised in the committee itself. And we were also Honorable Kaba was asked to also give us a presentation or just the issues that he referred to. And we have engaged with him, Chairperson, on the matters that were raised in the committee as requested. In terms of the cover page, Chairperson, I will just go to the issues that were raised in the committee and then speak to them. So if we go to the cover page, Bonani, just up a little, yes. We have corrected it, and it now correctly reflects as a report on public participation on the Constitution 18th Amendment Bill. And the next page that members need to look at is page number 9, Bonani. And page number 9, Chairperson, what we included is actually written in italics, so for ease of reference for members. Yes. Page 9, I think. You go down, it is a paragraph. Oh no, I think you need to go up a little bit, Bonani. Up, might be on page 8, 9, sorry. Up, Bonani. Yes, that paragraph. Chairperson, you would recall that there were issues about the report that we may have done an analysis on the report, on the submissions that were made. That paragraph serves to indicate that the report is actually a reflection of the views of the submitters as expressed in their submissions. However, also noting that the submitters, there was a lot of them, so it was important for us to actually synthesize the information without analyzing it. So that paragraph reads as follows. What follows in the below section is the presentation of the views of the public on the bill and their views outside of the bill, which relates to Section 25 in general. So the report synthesizes their views and reflects their views as expressed in the submission. Thus, no form of analysis of the views of the public was done in this report. Instead, the extracts from the submissions are reflected, and that, as requested by the committee as well, selected paragraphs are referenced as requested by the committee in our last meeting, Chairperson. And the next page that members need to consider is page 12 or 13, Bonani. There we go. That is the page, is it 13? Yes. What happened there, Chairperson? The subheading was themes emanating from the written submissions before. And members felt that that is where we did the analysis. And we changed that because we did not make any analysis of the submissions to other matters from the written submissions. And it's also important to note that in this section, basically, it is what is outside of the bill as advertised by the committee, but really speak to Section 25 as a whole. And we just added that paragraph in italics, referring to the fact that we could not put all the references in terms of the names of people, because that will affect the length and the readability of the report itself. And those members are referred to the submissions on a folder on submissions, which is made available to all members for perusal. And also to note that the subheadings reflected in the report are either developed from reading the submissions or extracted directly from the submissions. Sorry, Chairperson, that was my phone. And also, Chairperson, you would see that under each issue that is raised by the members of the public, at the bottom, we have added the sources as requested by the committee. For example, on this page now, we've put the sources in terms of the international relations, race relations, supported by many submitters. And we had Yanni Stradom of Agri-Western Cape and many others who have actually made submissions on that point. We did the same under the custodianship or ownership of land, so that members can also see who are the people, just a few, that have made submissions on that point. For example, we have Albert Edeling of Edeling and Imelman Trokurias, and Tsepo Musala, Sabulela Twala, and others who have actually made submissions on those. So I just wanted to point out to members what we have done in response to the issues that were raised in the meeting last week, and also after consultation with Honorable Kaba. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
I think the first thing to consider is whether or not the revised report addresses the concerns that the committee had. And then the second would be, how do we, if they have done so, which I believe they did, whether we are going to look at the report paragraph by paragraph until the end. But let's first settle the first question. The first question is, are members satisfied that the officials have taken their concerns and revised the text according to your recommendations? Can we hear from the members? Honorable Suma.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let's start by appreciating and welcome the good work that has been done by the administration. And of course, also appreciate the written submission on the presentation in responding to the report that was made by Honorable Kaba. We highly appreciate, because it takes time also to do that. To say it does on what we agreed upon, then we can deal with the second leg if there's any other second leg. But I just want to confirm, Chair, that with appreciation. Thank you very much.
Okay, Honorable Mandela. Honorable Kaba. Honorable Kaba.
Thank you very much. I wish to confirm that following the meeting of the committee that made certain recommendations with respect to the report, the administration led by Dr. Twalo looked at the presentations, revised the report, and revised the report, and that we confirm that the report does take into account the concerns, and in that way, I have no hesitation to confirm that the report is indeed validly before us, and that the committee must support those and then look at other matters that are just a matter of drafting, and as you have actually directed, Chair. I hereby confirm that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Kaba. Honorable Mandela, did you raise your hand? Honorable Mandela?
Honorable Chair. Yes, Honorable Chair. Am I audible?
Yes. You are.
Thank you,
Proceed.
Chair. Let me also Thank you. Let me also, Honorable Chair, welcome the report that has been put before us. I have also taken an opportunity to read through the presentation that has been put to us. But I would like to flag out, Honorable Chair, that particularly on the aspect of oral submissions and written submissions, two issues. One being that in the public hearings we attended, we came across a number of traditional leaders, Amandebele.
Honorable Mandela.
Yeah.
Honorable Mandela,
Yes.
let me just interrupt you. I want us to first exhaust the first question, whether or not the administration has done what they were requested to do by the committee. Once that is settled, then we will come to this, the issues that you want to raise. Can we first hear other members? Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I support
we'll come back
what the honorable members have said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any member of this committee who thinks that the administration has not done what they were requested to do? So, because there's no hand, it means that the administration have carried out the decision of this committee, and they produced a revised report that is acceptable to us. Now, the second question is, now, how do we go about dealing with the report? Do we do it paragraph by paragraph and then highlight shortcomings or otherwise of the report? And I see Honorable Lesoma, but Honorable Mandela was already on the platform. Can I allow you to address us, and then I'll go to Honorable Lesoma. Honorable Mandela.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As I had alluded to that, having read the report that has been put before us, Honorable Chair, and if we are to take the approach of reading paragraph by paragraph, what I seem to see lacking in the report perhaps is to flag out two issues. That of traditional leaders, as during our public hearings, traditional leaders throughout the country utilized their provincial house of traditional leaders. They utilized the National House of Traditional Leaders as well as Contralesa. And some traditional leaders actually came before the public hearings. I remember sitting in Witbank, we were able to see Amandebele come to make their submission. And theirs was very clear that whilst we are dealing with the amendment of Section 25, expropriation of land without compensation, they would want to ensure that land of Amandebele is returned to Amandebele. So I would like, Honorable Chair, that the committee assists in ensuring that it's located, that submission, both on the oral as well as on the written submissions. But secondly, Honorable Chair, having attended the public hearings, particularly in the Western Cape, We had a number of San and Khoi descendants, popularly known as Abattoir, who said that they were one of the first people to witness the brutality of land disposition as early as 1655. And I would also want to point it to the committee, Honorable Chair, that that also has not been recorded in terms of their submission, both on orally as well as on written submissions, and I'd like that to be taken note of, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mandela. Honorable Soma.
Thank you, Honorable
Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and colleagues. I wanted to respond directly to the question in terms of the approach of how do we navigate to the report, having appreciated and welcomed the good work that is done by the administration, is that it will assist when we go page by page in terms of the report and see where can we factor the points that Honorable Mandela is raising, in particular in chapter 3 and chapter, I think it's chapter 3 and 4, which will be better located, as it were. Thank you very much, Chair. But also we must satisfy ourselves that we have gone through the report formally in this sitting. Thank you very much, Chair.
I don't see any other hand. And I think we have to be meticulous, we have to be thorough when we deal with this revised report that we have all accepted. And I want to say, let's go page by page. And so we say, page 1, what are the issues? Is there anything, issue that was raised either in the oral or written submissions or public hearings, which was not captured? Those who know English say silence means consent. Can we move to page 2?
May it be flighted, Chair, for us as well. Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you for that intervention. Advocate Bonani. Advocate Bonani, can you flight? Great. That is the structure, and we are happy with the structure. And now we are in chapter 1, just flight the whole of chapter 1. Anything in chapter 1 on that first page? Then the second one is the mandate of the Hoc Committee. I think that's well known. Proceed. Constitutional framework and other guidelines. I think that's well noted. Then public participation, the approach. Is there anything on the approach? I don't see any hand. Can you proceed? Public hearings. Is there anything that we want to raise under public hearings? I don't see any hand. Layout of the public participation report. I think by accepting the revised report, we by implication accept that. Then conclusion. Can we move on? Advocate Bonani.
Chair, this I heard by Nkosima Mandela.
Honorable Mandela.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I was just going to indicate the issues I raised perhaps ought to be located within the public hearing report. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's correct. They have already raised the issues and then we have found where they fit in. Now, can we go to chapter 2? Lower your hand, Honorable Mandela, unless you want to come in on this part. Okay. Proceed, Advocate. The advertisement of the bill is common knowledge. I see something like traditional leaders of committee also. Okay, fine. Summary of submissions. Proceed. Advocate, proceed. 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 Custodianship of land. Proceed. 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 Proceed.
It be slowly on the conclusion. I just want to see the conclusion, my chairperson. My apology for not raising the hand.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, no, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, proceed, Advocate.
Quickly, Chair. Can yeah, it's Floyd here. Can we go to the part which was in conclusion now?
Okay, advocate.
It says the whole process elicited more than 200,000 submissions. Is that the correct number? Because when this, the last paragraph says that the process elicited more than 200,000 submissions. Is that a correct number? Because when these people challenge this, they will use these numbers to try to legitimize it.
Advocate, that's a fair question. Can you address
it? Yes, Chair, I confirm that it is an accurate reflection of the number of submissions received.
All right.
Those are written submissions.
Those are written submissions.
Those are written submissions.
Yes.
Sorry, Chair.
It's written submissions that also include, petitions that were sent time and over again.
Okay,
sorry,
so
Chair.
it means, yes, who's that?
This is Honorable Mbapama.
Proceed
On this very point, the thing says the whole process elicited more than 200,000 submissions. So we can't say this is an accurate number when it says more than. So it means that it's not an exact number. I was of the opinion that Advocate Vonani would give us the correct number exactly. I think this came from Glynis Breitenbach, who was working with him in the submissions. Maybe Advocate can just clarify that for us. Advocate Vonani.
No, sorry. There's no train smash. You are right to say more than. It's not an exact number. But we can expect Advocate Bonani now in this meeting to go and verify the exact number. Let's accept that.
With all due respect, Chair, I did not say he must go and verify. This is based on what was agreed between him and Glynis Breitenbach. If he can just clarify himself, because with due respect, sir, you were not there.
With due respect to you, the meeting of the two did not inform this report. That's why I'm saying we must give Advocate Bonani an opportunity to go and make sure what is the exact number, but that cannot be done in this meeting. So I agree with you. We need an exact number, but for the purpose of this meeting, we will accept that there were more than 200,000, but we need the exact number. Advocate, Advocate Ramano, Advocate Ramano.
Yes, Chair. I was struggling to unmute myself. No, I can confirm that we discussed the issue of the number of submissions with Advocate Breitenbach, but there was no agreement that I should have that number today. So we are still looking at we are still tallying the numbers. So I will give the number at a later stage.
Okay, I hope you are happy with that because that's the reasonable explanation. But
thank you, sir. I am.
Okay, thank you. And actually, this number of submissions then even raises the question: if we want to call people to Parliament, are we going to call 200,000 people or more? Is that reasonable? Is that doable? But I'm not opening that for discussion. I'm just making an observation. Can you proceed on that, on Advocate Ramano? Advocate Ramano? Who is Dr. Tuli? We want somebody who can move the...
Okay. Bonani is sharing the screen, Chair.
Oh, I mean, sometimes the internet is unstable and then we can't hear you. Okay. Can we proceed? There's no hand. Can we proceed? Yes. Yes.
Honorable Chair, can it just go up a little bit in terms of the schedule or list of members of parliament? Okay, it's fine.
Okay. Proceed. 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 Honorable members, I'm not rushing you. I'm just taking into account the fact that you have read the report as well. But if you feel that we are too fast, stop me. I will stop and afford you an opportunity. Proceed.
Chair, if we can go no, Chair, I just want to go through the second bulletin from the bottom of this page. That it says that, and the majority of submissions and all that, and some from the members and political parties. I think the point that was raised also by Honorable Mandela can find its expression located somewhere there as well. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you for your vigilance. Proceed. Proceed. Proceed.
One second, Chair, let me just go, Chair, may we go to the summary of this one, the summary of the Okay, no, I'm fine, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay. Proceed. Honorable members, you all have the right to stop us if you want to address us. You have the equal rights, all of you. Proceed. Proceed. Everyone pay the fruits, you know. Okay, I'll tell you. Proceed. Proceed. Proceed.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Could we go back a bit to the part that talks to submission from political parties
Okay, with pleasure.
in this province? I see that there is no, we have not included the submissions from the DA on this. And I am sure they were made, so I will just check on it and come back in the next sitting of this committee to this. But I feel that the DA did make some proposals for amendments. Thank you, Chair.
That's a fair request. Is acceded to. Let's proceed. Just mute there. Yeah. Proceed. Why don't you just get enough fruits for yourself?
Oh no, I thought we were going to sit together.
Okay. Proceed. 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 Okay. That thing is not urgent.
Chair, if I can make a comment, which is an assumption that whereby it talks about the submissions, it reflects the political party submissions. It is taken directly from the written submissions that were submitted. I just want confirmation on that. There was no rewriting and correcting English.
Okay.
I need confirmation on my assumption, Chair.
Can you just repeat that?
My assumption is that would I be correct to say that under the
Advocate Bonani, just stop.
Okay, thank you, Chair. If I may repeat myself, is to say that my assumption will be correct to say the admin took directly from the written submissions from various political parties, as it were. There was no English correcting and all that. I just need that confirmation, that's all.
Dr. Tully, can you assist us?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. We did not do any editing of information that was given to us, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you covered, Honorable Masuma? Okay.
Very much
Let's
so.
proceed.
Properly, Chair. Thank you.
Chairperson?
Okay.
Chairperson?
Yes. Yes, proceed.
Chairperson, bullet number 7 on arguments rejecting the amendment, and this is the thing about the report. I find that there isn't consistency when it comes to saying, you find that in certain parts of the report it says arguments supporting and then and then arguments against. So if there could be consistency in the subheadings as well. But bullet number 7, there was also reference made to the skilling of people in order for them to work the land and to a skills transfer of some sort happening. I remember this submission came from Agri Limpopo during the public hearing held at Makwarela Community Hall. And then during the hearing in Tomo Community Hall, Deirdre Carter of Agri Limpopo raised an objection to the public hearing being held in Tomo because she said that there's very little agricultural activity in Tomo and very little land lies in private hands. And she asked why we were having the public hearing there instead of having it in Waterberg. And I wondered whether that would be noted anywhere in the report.
What are members saying on that? Especially those who were part of that. Is the Honorable Bongo here? Oh, no, okay.
Chair, through you, Chair, this is Honorable Papam. Are you asking other members to confirm what she's saying, or are you asking the members of the administration if they can incorporate what she's saying? I don't quite understand.
Yeah, I'm asking members of the administration. Maybe I should not also put them on the spot. I think we have been raising issues which are either not captured or not captured properly.
Exactly.
Let us
yes.
leave this matter with the administration to
exactly.
attend to. Yeah.
Chair, I'll be happy for the administration to do the recording and pick up on that, especially the public hearing at Tomo Community Hall. I distinctly remember Deirdre Carter of Agri Limpopo raising this issue.
No, it's fine. I think they had it and they will attend to the matter. Let's proceed. Proceed. If something goes wrong, please have stopped the whole parliament. You can go. Proceed. Dr. Tuli. Dr. Tuli.
Yes, Chairperson.
Just keep on scrolling. I'll be out for 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Dr. Tuli, can you go to Northwest, please?
It's actually Bonani who's doing the thing.
Okay, so
yes.
Have we passed Northwest already?
No, I think Northwest is coming after Mpumalanga.
Okay. I have a point under bullet 2 of the Mpumalanga public hearings, arguments against. You can go up a bit. I think you've already passed it. It's right. I think it's the arguments against the amendment.
Hello?
Honorable Mandela. Honorable Mandela.
Yes, Bonan.
Yes, you addressed an issue relating to the Amanda Valley. I don't know if adequately covered it.
Okay, I'm covered. Thank you.
Bonan?
Yeah, I'm still going down to Northwest.
No, but I wanted to make a contribution under Mpumalanga as well. I said the second bullet.
Which bullet is that?
The second bullet under the argument against the amendment. The slide at the top. I don't think this point clearly articulates what was said, because I remember this submission. It was an oral submission made in MLO by Mpumalanga Agriculture. The point there was that 90 to 95% of farmers use their land as collateral when securing production loans from banks and cooperative. And if land is expropriated without compensation, these farmers will not be able to secure the production loans and will invariably owe banks and cooperative. I'm not sure if I'm just worried that the way it's captured here doesn't clearly articulate that point, that you've got a majority of farmers that use their land as collateral when securing production loans from banks and cooperative. And if land is expropriated, these farmers will find themselves in a situation where they're unable to secure loans and will invariably owe banks and cooperative. So
okay, can we leave that to the administration to sort out?
Yes, if they could listen to that recording and confirm that. That's the way I. We can move to North.
Proceed. Yeah, let's move. Let's move. Dr. Tuli, okay.
Ramotera, I would like to come in again. There are 2 points that I feel were left under the Northwest public hearing. There are 2 submissions. One submission was made on behalf of AfriForum, stating that land grabbing and not paying for it is tantamount to theft. The same submitter also made the point that the state owns a quarter of all agricultural land and that they're not against land reform, but are against land grabs. And if land is seized without paying for it, the country will experience lower economic growth. I did not see the point there. I stand to be corrected. The second point is this oral submission was made in Potchefstroom to the effect that the state owns 2 million hectares of land. And if there's going to be any redistribution of that land, it should start with this land. And the point was made that redistribution can happen without having to amend the constitution.
Okay, can we leave that to the administration to sort out?
Thank you.
Proceed. Advocate Ramano. Proceed. Proceed. Advocate, proceed. 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 Proceed.
Ramotara, I would like to come in again.
Please.
Under Western Cape, bullet number 4. I recall the submitter of this particular oral submission that was made in Mossel Bay saying that there was a fear that not only will land be expropriated, but so too will people's properties. If they could just cross-check whether they picked that up on the recording as well. And then bullet number 5, the submitter of this particular oral submission made again in Mossel Bay not only indicated that the majority of land claimants opted for money rather than land, but also stated that the majority of land claims were in respect of urban and not rural land.
Okay, can we proceed with that's noted? The administration will attend to that. Proceed.
Chair, there's a hand up.
Okay, Dr. Mulder.
Thank you, Chairperson. I just, after we're finished with this, I would like to make a general statement with regard to the report, but I guess you will give us an opportunity to do so. Thank you.
No, I'll do so, but by all means. Honorable Lusoma, I noted you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. On conclusion, if it can come back, the conclusion, please. Can be flighted once more. Thank you very much. This report on public hearings adequately captures the views and it goes on and on. I want to submit to the committee chair that the selection or the choice of that word, it does create a problem. But also, if we would have taken that word, we wouldn't have made the submissions that we have made now in terms of the corrections and agreed to be inserted in the report. And I will suggest that we change that word to say it seeks to capture almost all the views that it continues, because if it adequately, so it doesn't give any room to do anything with it. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you for your vigilance. Proceed. Is this the end of the report?
Yes, Chair.
Dr. Mulder said he wants to make a general statement. You are free to do so.
Thank you, Chairperson. I appreciate that. Chairperson, if you look at this report and you look at the first heading of the report, and we dealt with that, the report says it's a report on public participation on the Constitution 18th Amendment Bill. And then it deals with all the various aspects. Now, quite obviously, if we talk about public participation, it deals with written submissions as well as with the public hearings. And I think we all understand that. My problem is the following. When we come to the part in the report that deals with the public hearings, throughout the process, it goes into details in terms of people representing political parties. You can say ANC members made the following points, or EFF members at the public hearings made the following points. My problem is this. Other political parties made use of written submissions. For example, the Freedom Fund Plus submitted a very extensive written submission. But in the part of the report where it deals with written submissions, it does not refer to the political parties that made written submissions and their points of view. So my problem is, if you look at the report in totality, I think we should either refer and accept that different parties, political parties in Parliament made submissions, and we should also recognize that in the written submission part. But I think it should not be a question or a case where you give recognition to certain parties that made their points of view known and others you don't use that. That's the first point. My second problem is, Chairperson, on page 25 of the report, it deals with the public hearings and it lists the submissions during those hearings made by the public. And then it gives a schedule where it clearly indicates of the total submissions, written public hearing submissions that were made, 1,666, I think, opposed to the amendment to the Constitution. I think it's absolutely necessary that it should also be reflected in exactly the same way when we deal with the written submissions. So at the moment, the report indicates more than 200,000. I think we need the exact number of written submissions, and we also need an indication report in exactly the same way that we've dealt on page 25 in terms of so many in favor and so many against. Thank you, Chairperson. Much appreciated.
Dr. Mulder. You are right. That also relates to the question of consistency. I think the administration have heard you and they are competent to address those issues. Can we leave it to them?
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, we have now the following options. Option number 1 is to adopt the report subject to additions that have been suggested, or to adopt the report after those additions have been made. What are your views? What option do you prefer?
Chair, Honorable Babama, may I come in?
Yeah. Yes.
Chair, I would recommend that we adopt option 2, whereby we adopt the report after the additions have been made. The reason why I'm saying that is that some of us also need to go back to our notes again, especially on the point that was raised by myself and Honorable Mulder in cases where other political parties were not quoted in the report. So, Chair, I would please recommend that we wait until all the input has been put in. That's my first point. And then secondly, I want to make this open and ask if if we may be allowed to talk to the Secretariat directly, because the reason why I'm saying that is that I am worried that next week or next time we sit down and meet and I come in with a new point that has to be added to the report, there might be some objection from some of the members to say, now, why didn't you bring it up last week? And yet we are human, Chair. We err, we forget things, etc., etc. So what I'm really asking to do is that we adopt the report after the additions, after all additions suggested by members have been done, obviously within reason. I'm not saying that we must keep that on and on forever. Thank you.
With due respect, as soon as we allow members to go to talk to the administration, it may boil down to undue influence. You know, the members of the administration are professional people. They have their professional integrity to protect. They must protect the integrity of the institution. So I think the contact, which I also authorized, was if you go to them to access information, but not to discuss the formulation or anything. I think as far as additions and formulations are concerned, all those things must be raised in the meeting like now, and we have done that. So that is sufficient. So there shouldn't be any discussions with the administration. It may compromise their professional integrity, the integrity of the institution, and it may raise suspicions that some members have prevailed over the administration. So I don't want to put the administration in such a difficult situation, which may also boil down to unethical conduct.
Thank you for that wisdom, Chair. I agree with you completely. Then I would ask that we also make submissions to changes in the next meeting.
On a point of order,
my
Chair.
hand is up, Chair.
On a point of order, we can't have a dialogue. And this member has been doing this since the beginning of the meeting. It's not a meeting only. There's a chairperson who is presiding over the meeting.
You do it every day when
Shivambo. But you must shut up and listen to what is happening.
Shut up,
honorable members.
Lesoma's hand is up.
Honorable members, we have done very well up to now. Let's continue on that note. I have recognized Honorable Lusuma, Honorable Gumede, and Honorable Shibambo in that order.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think you have assisted us. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and the colleagues. I would say we accept the report, not necessary to use the word adopt. We accept the report as a living resource document that we can work on as a reference point. Why? Let me qualify why I'm choosing that word that we accept it, Chair. It's because we still have got, in our next meeting, we're supposed to be dealing now with the actual text. So it shouldn't be holding us on doing what we're supposed to do, which is more fundamental and important in terms of amending the actual text as it were. So I submit, Chair, having agreed with your points, is to say that let's accept the report as a living resource document that can be used. That will allow and afford members, as they deem so, to say they want something to be included in the report. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Suma. Honorable Gunede. Honorable Dibulelo, I noted you. Honorable Kaba, I noted you.
Chair, I wanted to recommend that you give all parties, if we call it parties, an opportunity that of the things that were raised today and some other things that they may come up later with them, they be given an opportunity that they, rather than interact with officials, they submit at least to the officials, and then the officials will amend accordingly. But that must be subject to the matter that it is on the report rather than a new item altogether. That's the Chair. Thank you.
Honorable member, can we agree that by interacting with officials, we simply mean that you submit each party, as Honorable Gumede is saying, the parties, things that they've raised here, if they formulate them and submit to Advocate Bonane, but there should be no interaction which involves discussion. It must be submission or request.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah. So I thank you, Honorable Gumede. I think that's very helpful. Honorable Shibambo.
I was saying exactly the same thing. It's so strange. Now it's accepted.
No, Honorable Mbabama, you were saying the same thing, but there was altercation between you and Honorable. I couldn't hear properly. But
Honorable Chair,
there's favoritism happening here. There's favoritism happening here. There is favoritism happening here.
You can't do that.
I said exactly the same thing that Gumede said. I said exactly the same thing that Gumede said. Someone a favoritism. Ninje, ANC. Ninje.
Honorable Chair, we need to raise an order to Honorable Mbabama, or you can kick her out of this meeting. We can't continue listening to her all this time. She has to raise her hand, just like many of us. We cannot continue with like this, Honorable Chair.
You will not raise your hands because you know that what he's saying is what you want. Kick me out if you want to. I'm telling you that.
Comrades.
I'm telling you that.
No, Comrade Nolita, Comrade Mbabama, let me say this. You know where Comrade Mbabama correctly
Honorable.
Said, can I speak? I'm on the floor now. Honorable Mbabama correctly said, can we interact with the administration? And Comrade Gumede also said, can we interact with the administration? I said, such interaction should be limited to submission of a written elaboration of what was raised in the meeting. So I'm happy that Honorable Mbambama and Honorable Bumede agree. So there's no issue.
Only after Kumede said it. Only after Kumede said it. After me, you said no. You are biased, Chair. You are biased.
That's your opinion, and I will.
Chair, you never said no. Yeah. If ever she did, you never said no.
No, that's true. I never said no. I just allowed other speakers.
We'll get the recording. We'll get the recording. He did say no to me.
Yes.
He said
no,
I cannot go
it's
there.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine. You are entitled to the recording. Let's not fight.
I'm raising an order. I'm raising an order, Chair.
Honorable Nolita.
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair. We have listened and continued to listen to Honorable Mbambama disrespecting this committee, disrespecting you as a chair. He even went on to call Honorable Shivambo a Kwedin, and we kept quiet. And then I'm saying that the way that she is behaving is wrong. And then she shouts at me. She is out of order, Chair. She is very out of order the way that Honorable Mbambama is behaving in this committee today. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, the only thing that qualifies us to be honorable members is our self-respect and respect for others. Once we cease to respect ourselves and respect others, we don't qualify to be honorable members. But let's agree that going forward, the house rule is self-respect and respect for others. And that means that shouting on other honorable members is unacceptable. Using derogatory language is unacceptable. And please, we are public representatives. We are public representatives. And if we don't respect one another, how are we going to even respect the public? Because the platform that we are using is not our platform. We were given by the public to use this platform to advance their interests and not our egos. Thank you very much. I've recognized the Honorable Shivambo, Honorable Mahlatsi, Honorable Kawa, and Honorable Nuku, in that order. Honorable Shivambo.
No, thank you, Chair. Like, I think we need the necessary composure and must not be agitated by urgent provocateurs. They always do that. The intention is clear, that stooges have been hired to try to divert the attention of this process. But I want to make a solid observation in terms of the entire report. I don't think that in reflecting on the public submissions, we should categorize the submissions as political party submissions, because those people that were participating in the public submissions were participating as members of the public. They could have been wearing political party regalia or whatever they could have done, but you can't even verify that they are members of those organizations, because even wearing regalia of organization doesn't mean anything. Let's deal with the content of what were the dominant submissions that were made in all the provinces that we visited and everything else there. There was a stage in the parliamentary discussions where, as political parties, we made our own submissions. So when you are dealing with that section that then deals with the deliberations in the parliamentary deliberations, you can then attribute that because we officially made those submissions to say that this is our version of the amendment, and of course it will coincide with some of the submissions that came from the public hearings. So instead of adding what all other political parties claim they have said in the public hearings, let's rather remove that as part of the things and then reflect on the content instead of who said the what in all of those, and then we on that basis adopt the report based on the content instead of the stratification of the members of the public that made the submissions. And Chair, like let's not entertain the urgent provocateurs. it's mostly self-hating people who have been hired by the establishment to disrupt this process. It's foolish girls who are trying to take us for a ride here.
Honorable members, those that have recognized, I want to request that you express yourself on this proposal by Honorable Shibambo, because I want to share or make a ruling on it. I think it was a very important point to be made, and I don't want it to be an individual's point, but it's a very valuable point. Honorable Dibulelo Mahlatsi.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good afternoon, colleagues. Chair, let me first and foremost appreciate your composure in managing this particular committee. I think as members of the committee, we ought to behave in an appropriate manner, befitting the stature of the responsibility given to us. The shouting and the screaming on this particular platform does not augur well with society, and will not augur well with society, especially that we're dealing with a very profound issue of the land. But let me also add to the fact that thank you very much for steering the meeting quite well, even under these difficult circumstances. Now, secondly, Chair, let me second the view submitted or sponsored to the meeting by Honorable Soma in relation to the document being a living document, that we may not necessarily adopt it today. Let's allow inputs to come through, but that process of allowing inputs to come through must not stop the program in terms of our next meeting, in terms of what is expected out of us. And I also want to support your view, Chair, that we shouldn't allow members to interact, like you have indicated, with administration in order to safeguard the integrity of the process and the committee and the professionalism element of our administration. But if they want to submit, they may submit, but also, Chair, we must make sure that the submissions that are made are in line with what has been discussed in the meeting. No new other things that which might not have arisen in this meeting may be submitted, because it will subject us to further discussion. So if it's issues that have been raised in this meeting, it's well and fair that we can do so. And also, let me also engage on the proposal that maybe we should remove political submission. I think it is proper, because throughout our public hearings, even when there were challenges in Limpopo, we have made it clearly that it's not about who and which political party, but it's about members of society, whether they were wearing whatever regalia, it's about members of society. So I think I support that particular perspective, that where we as political parties have submitted views, they be recorded as such during our formal submission, written submissions. But in terms of public hearings, let's not subject ourselves to that particular process, because it will be seen as if it's particular political parties, because all society members of society have participated in this particular program. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Kaba, I want to take Honorable Nugu before I take you, with your permission.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Honorable Nugu.
Chair, you always put me in front while I thought I was last, but anyway, thank you for recognizing me. Chair, I just want to make a couple of observations. I think, Chair, you just need to manage this meeting a little bit better and show your impartiality, because I think the frustration coming from Honorable Mbabama is that you are not showing impartiality in managing the debate or the inputs. You know, last week we spoke about, caucus. It feels like for me sometimes the view has to come from a certain party for you to actually kind of support. So that's the first point that I just want to make. I think you need to be aware of that. You might not be seeing it, but we are seeing it. The other point that I want to make with regards to this, report going forward is that whilst this report in respect of submissions during the provincial public hearings, to an extent reports on those proposals that deal specifically with the wording of the bill. Failure to do the same in respect of the written submission, we should not accept it. If left in the current format, the further deliberation will largely be ignored, will be ignoring the contents of the written submission. That's the first point I want to make, Chair. The second point, obviously, is not really directly to individual area, but the report is furthermore problematic in that it largely works from assumption that this committee and the parliament is under an obligation based on the resolution underpinning the establishment and work of the Section 25 Ad Hoc Committee to amend the Constitution. This, from a legal point or legal position, can never be right. The resolution that led to the establishment of the Section 25 Committee is neither instructive nor final in nature. Anyone arguing to the contrary should read the judgment about the instruction of the Public Protector to the Parliament. Further, it is well within the authority of this committee to report to the National Assembly that it had found that no constitutional amendment is necessary in order to achieve the aim of land reform or restitution. The manner in which the resolution is in question was phrased made it clear that this committee is to initiate a process that may result in the amendment of Section 25 of the Constitution. Therefore, it is unacceptable, Chair, that the point of departure of the draft report is that the purpose of the committee is to amend the Constitution. Therefore, the purpose of the public hearing is to hear the view of the public on how the Constitution is to be amended. In this regard, it is also problematic that it will seem, on the basis of the draft report, that the committee is to take into consideration all proposals for amendments that is not strictly aimed at the compensation issue on which the parliamentary resolution turned, but also broader issues relating to Section 25. In turn, the report works from the point of departure that the proposal argued that the constitutional amendment is not necessary to allow for either nil compensation or to enable land reform or land redistribution is not relevant to the process. So the report, in our view, should therefore be improved to deal with all proposals and submission in a handed and fair manner. So I do agree that this must not be a political report, but it must be a public report. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Nogo, I was taught by the likes of former President Kgalema Motlanthe that when you chair a meeting, you must not take sides. You must listen to arguments and opt for superior arguments, and you must allow yourself to be persuaded. So I'm entitled to be persuaded, and if I'm persuaded by a member of the EFF, and then his argument is superior to the argument of the ANC which I belong to, I will accept the argument of the EFF because I am not in this chair to promote or put any political party above another. I have a constitutional obligation to treat all of you as honorable members of Parliament with equal rights and duties in this meeting. So don't fear that I'm going to discriminate against anyone on the basis of their membership of a political party. Thank you. Honorable Kaba.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. This meeting, Chair, has reaffirmed the three cardinal principles. I think you have commented on that. One, that we must at all times protect the integrity of our support staff. And two, that we must protect the integrity of the institution, that both the staff and ourselves represent. And then thirdly, that we must protect the integrity of the process. Those are very fundamental principles that we must uphold at all times, because they are at the center of the process that we are actually embarking upon. Thank you very much for doing that, Chair. And then secondly, Chair, and it is unfair for the colleagues or of the colleagues to impugn the impartiality of the chairperson when it is the members in this committee who are disrespecting the rules of a meeting. I mean, I don't know how many times you have tried to call them to order, and at times the meeting nearly degenerated. I think it is absolutely uncalled for members to behave in this manner. So, Chair, I thought I should just make that point. And then the third point, Chair, that you are raising, I mean, that has been raised, which I want to support. Honorable Shivambo says in the public hearings that he or his party colleagues attended, and no one stood up to say, I'm in this public hearing representing the EFF. And they were actually making presentation as members of society, and regardless of their political affiliation. Nobody was ever asked that now that you are making this presentation, who are you making this presentation on behalf? That a person was wearing a regalia, a political party regalia, does not necessarily mean that he was expressing a view on behalf of the political parties that he appeared to have been, that appears to be supporting. I think that's a point that Shivambo made and seconded by Honorable Mahlatse. Honorable Mahlatse went further to say that in the event where, because we were all in the public hearings, that a person stood up and said, I am making a presentation, authorized. There's an issue of being authorized to speak on behalf of a political party. I can't speak on behalf of the political party, of my political party, if I am not authorized to speak on its behalf. And so she says, in the event where a person said, I'm here representing my political party, and implying that he has the necessary authority to speak on behalf of the party, and that must be recorded as such. So we must separate the two. Where it is on behalf of the party, and that was expressly stated, we record it as such, but where people were contributing as members of society, they must not be discriminated, inverted commas, and from other members whom would have come but not wearing any political regalia, but may stated views that could easily be associated with this or that political party. So I'm saying there's got to be consistency in that respect. On that score, I support both Shivambo and Mahlatso. And then the last point, Chair, that we want to conclude on, you said there are two options. And I agree, there are two options. In any meeting, when after you've gone through, considered the report, you remain with two options. The first option is to accept the report subject to the proposed amendments. And in this meeting, nobody has preferred this one. Nobody has said let's accept it now, today, subject to the proposed amendment, because some amendments are substantive, and that the test is in the formulation. Therefore, the second option is preferred from the discussions in the meeting, that we must accept the report after the amendments have been incorporated. That can only happen at the next sitting of this portfolio committee, where the team comes back to say at the last committee meeting, these are the proposed amendments, and you put them to the meeting for meeting to say, yes, indeed, these what the staff is putting before us correctly captures what was discussed at the last meeting, meaning this meeting, Chair. Therefore, you further went on, Chair, to say that between now and the next meeting, I think it will be next week sometime, and parties, sorry, members are granted the opportunity to elaborate on the issues that they raised today in this meeting. We're actually not opening up for new issues. Otherwise, and it will unravel the discussions that we have had so far. Issues that were raised today, and all of us, because we were raised in good spirit, were welcomed and as matters that must be incorporated in the report. And now if we allow a different process, and the next thing we are presented with issues that will be hearing them for the first time, it will set this meeting and 2 steps back instead of taking a step forward. It should not be a situation of taking 2 steps back before we take 1 step forward. Let's move forward as people who are entrusted with this very sensitive responsibility. The way, Chair, you have handled this meeting, I want to believe that we will get the results for as long as members offer you maximum cooperation and respect the rules, not you, Chair, but the rules of any meeting. And thanks, Chair. I wanted just to make those propositions, in seconding everything that the members said today. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Kaba. Honorable Nolita, had you raised your hand?
I had Chair, but many members have covered me. The one thing that I wanted to emphasize, Chair, is that on the submissions that are going to be done to the officials, as Honorable Gumede has said so, it must not be something that is not part of the report or something that someone has decided to consolidate it on his or her own and is not even part of what is there in the recordings. I think even our administration should be looking at that. Someone must not bring something new that was not said in any meeting. I just wanted to emphasize on that, Chair, but I support what Comrade Musoma indicated and supported by Comrade Mahlatse. Thank you, Chair. Honorable, thank you.
Honorable members, thank you very much. I want to repeat that as chairperson, I will be guided by superior arguments. I will remain open for persuasion, and I cannot discriminate against any party in this meeting, because there is no member of parliament who is not here because they have been voted by a section of South African people. So we have to respect South African people as a whole, regardless of their political affiliation. But where you think or you suspect that I'm out of order, you raise it. I will not be offended, because I don't represent myself. I represent Parliament. I was put in this chair by Parliament. And I also want to thank Honorable Kaba for restating fundamental principles. Principles of integrity is of the process, integrity of the institution, integrity of the support staff. If we violate those principles, then we don't deserve to be in this house. We don't deserve to be members of parliament. But in this discussion, I think something has been demonstrated. You see, Comrade Shibambo raised an issue about categorizing people against political parties. And I was persuaded, but I didn't want to accept that. I requested other speakers to comment on that. And Honorable Mahlasi supported Honorable Shibambo. And Honorable Kawa supported Honorable Shibambo, which means Honorable Shibambo had advanced a superior argument which persuaded other members regardless of their political parties. So this is what we should do. Let's persuade one another regardless of our political affiliation, because at the end of the day, when South Africans look at this institution, they're not looking at individual political parties. They say our parliament. And therefore, parliament is not the ANC parliament alone, is not the DA parliament alone, is not IFP parliament alone, is a parliament of the people of South Africa. And therefore, its integrity and the integrity of its members must be paramount. Now, I am happy that all of us accept what Honorable Suma proposed.
On a point of order, Chair.
Yes.
On a point of order, Honorable Mpabama, could you please recognize my hand, unless I am gagged?
Honorable Mpabama, with respect, you asked to be heard, you said point of order. I say proceed. What is the problem?
My hand has been up even before Ntate Chapa. Can I talk on what has been suggested by Honorable Shibambo and Honorable Mahlasi?
Okay, proceed. Proceed. I didn't see your hand. You know,
Chair, we must not play with semantics here. We are not playing semantics here. Whether a person stood up and said, I am authorized by the DA, or the person said, I am speaking on behalf of the DA, should not make any difference as far as I'm concerned. What we are looking at here is a report of what happened during the public hearings. So if a person stood up and parroted the same thing on and on and on, it means that that person has been instructed. Nobody, if people were talking in their personal capacity, surely there would have been differences in their submissions. And I'm talking directly to the submission of the EFF. I'm making an example with that. Most people who stood up and spoke on behalf of their political parties said so. We can even go back to the videos that were taken. And if we are saying the report must be a reflection of what happened on the ground, then it must be a reflection of what happened on the ground. So I object strongly to the view that says we must change that. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mahlatsi.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm opposed to what Honorable Mbabama is indicating when she says people have been instructed. Does she have any evidence of what she's actually insinuating in this meeting? If she can actually substantiate on the matter, because I don't think so.
I do have evidence, Chair, if she wants it.
Honorable members, with due respect, Honorable Shibambo indicated that there's no way that we can verify that when people are wearing the regalia of a political party, that what they are saying is necessarily from that political party. And when I said I want to address this issue later, is for one reason only, that actually members of parliament or political parties have a forum in parliament to address these issues. When we went out there, we said these are public hearings. We want to listen to the public. So in my view, Honorable Shibambo, as supported by Honorable Mahlatsi, Honorable Kawa, is right. Because if we are going to say in this report that in the public hearings, we were listening to ourselves as political parties representing in parliament, that would defeat the purpose of public hearing. And the fact that some political parties are on the ground, they interact with the people, and the people like the submissions, and they come to the public hearing and repeat the submissions of those political parties. It's only a credit to those political parties to show that they're in touch with the people, they are able to influence people, but that cannot be held against them. So I think let's leave this discussion. It is out of order, and I think the position that has emerged in this meeting is that we cannot reflect the outcome of the public hearings according to political parties, because we were not going there to listen to political parties, but to the public. The public means all the people of South Africa as a whole.
Chair, my hand is still raised. If you can recognize me.
I've recognized you.
Thank you very much.
Proceed.
Chair, on behalf of DA, I would like to submit my strong objection to this decision, because the report is supposed to be a report of what happened on the ground. And people actually stood up and said, and I'm not talking about regalia. I never even mentioned the word regalia. I'm talking about what people said. They said, I am talking on behalf of the EFF. Some of them said, I'm talking on behalf of the ANC. Others said, I belong to the DA and this is the view of the DA. So people actually said that. People did not say, I'm standing up on my own personal capacity. So I feel that your decision is wrong. And I would like that to be included in the minutes, that that is what the DA's position is. You are absolutely wrong, Chair.
Honorable Mbabama, members of political parties had the right to speak, but that did not make public hearings the hearing of political parties. That's why we define these hearings as public hearings. So I really am not persuaded with what you are saying, but I'm not
Chair,
the
as long as the objection is noted, that's all I'm saying. Just note the objection.
No,
in the minutes, in the minutes of this meeting.
Don't rush to know. Honorable Mbabama, this is a democratic process. We don't rush to note things. We must listen to everybody and see what is the balance of evidence and so on. So I recognize Honorable Shibambo and Honorable Muraseta. Don't rush me into noting things before I listen to other people. Honorable Shibambo.
No, I wanted to propose, Chair, that you must make a summary and then we proceed to the next item or on this item. I think there's this adequate consensus in terms of the way forward.
Thank you. Honorable Muraseta and Honorable Lusuma.
Yeah, Chairperson, my worry was I was afraid the meeting is getting unnecessarily degenerated because it was you against Honorable Mbaba. But where I'm sitting, I thought you are making a summary based on the views of the participants. And it's obvious, as a matter of fact, your summary will be directed by the views of the majority. But if there is a minority or a dissenting view, you note it and we pass, Chairperson, rather than to engage in a debate. It is not possible in meetings that you will satisfy everyone, especially as the chair. You are not money. You see, whereby you will be loved by everybody or be accepted by everyone. So I would say where there is a dissenting view, note and let us pass for the sake of progress in our meeting. Thank you.
Honorable, who else has raised his hand?
No, I was going to say,
Yes.
Chair, we have been very accommodative and very patient with each other. I will agree with Honorable Shivambo that let's hear your summary and you close the meeting. Otherwise, we'll talk until.
Thank you, Honorable Lesuma. Honorable members, I was deliberately accommodated.
And I don't think it's fair because during when we're going through the report, honestly, it does also have to respect the chair and also to make sure that there is progress when we meet and meet.
No, honorable members, let me finish. I was deliberately accommodative, and Honorable Mahlatsi even says she appreciates the composure, because I really want to make sure that we move together, we persuade one another. But now I'm persuaded by those who are saying, let's move ahead, and I'm prepared now to move ahead and make the summary. When I started, I said we have two options. One, to adopt or accept the report subject to additions, or adopt the report after additions. And what comes out of this meeting is that we should adopt the report after additions, which means at the next meeting. And now Honorable Lesoma made the proposal, which I agree with, that it means now we have a living source document, which we will improve as and when parties make submissions based on what emerged in this meeting, not any new submissions, only things that were said in this meeting, which parties wants to elaborate in a meeting, in writing. We confine ourselves to that. And secondly, that when those submissions based on what came from this meeting are made, it doesn't authorize any of us to interact with the executive. All that they can do is to send the elaboration to the committee secretary, no discussion, no meetings, nothing. But also access to submissions is still open, and that people can send an SMS or email to the committee secretary to ask for access. And further on, we agree that we don't want to conduct a commission of inquiry into who represented which party in the public hearings. If that is not practicable, It's not desirable. All that we must do is to accept that we conducted public hearings and not party political hearings. So the report must be amended accordingly. And of course, in any meeting, there are different opinions. But, the weight, the balance of evidence, the balance of opinions must carry the day. And I think those who say that we must record this thing not on party political basis have carried the day, and that's what we should do. Lastly, honorable members, allow me to thank Honorable Kava, because this meeting accepted his input. So his input became the position of this committee. And we even agreed as this committee that he must put his input in writing and submit it to the administration, because the administration had asked for guidance. But that did not mean that he must go and occupy offices in the administration. He submitted. That's the type of interaction where we are now again endorsing. And I also want to thank Dr. Tuli for her able leadership and the way in which she has responded to our requests. And thirdly, I want to thank Advocate Ramano and Advocate Gwebu for ensuring that what had to be done is done on time and it's circulated on time, so that we today were able to engage with a revised document. And we need such responsive officials or administrators. And I want to say to them, keep the standards high. We appreciate that, and you have our support. And I have no doubt that even in the things that have been raised by members here, you will do justice to them, so that next week then we adopt the report. But in the meantime, the report is in the language of Honorable Lesoma. It is a living source document. So we are on course, we are moving, and let's move together to the finish. Now, you see, another principle in meetings is that when we have agreed that the chairperson must summarize and we move forward, and there are people who want to speak after the summary of the chairperson, that must become a new meeting. It will be a new meeting, because if they speak, other members will want to respond. Is that how we want to work? Honorable Nuku and Dr. Melda, is that how we want to work? That after concluding the meeting, we start another meeting inside the same meeting? But
may I say something?
For today, let me allow you to speak.
Chairperson, I didn't want to start the new meeting.
Yes,
I wanted to say I wanted to say I support your summary.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, Prof.
Hello.
Dr. Melder is supporting your summary. Just proceed and summarize.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to say, Chairperson, that I support your summary.
Oh, Dr. Melda, you remember me, you remind me that when we adopted the draft bill, it was through your intervention. You intervened and brought us all together. And thanks to you that we have reached this stage. Thank you. Honorable Nugu. Honorable Nugu.
So, Chair, I just wanted to say also thank you for your
Nugu.
Chair, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chair?
I hear you perfect.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for your summary.
Yes, I do. Proceed.
I wanted to say thank you for your summary.
Thank you.
But I think it... Oh. No, it's fine, Chair. Let's close the meeting, Chair. Fine, thanks.
Honorable honorable members, long live. I hope that your families and your communities. Yes.
Chairperson. Chair.
Yes.
Shouldn't we maybe look at the program so that shouldn't we look at the program? No, I think that shouldn't we look at the program so that we know what we are doing going forward?
What are you suggesting, Advocate? Advocate? Okay.
We're proposing that we apply for permission to sit on Thursday next week, so that legal services can.
Why?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Proceed.
No, we're proposing that we can have a meeting on Thursday in the afternoon so that legal services can respond to some of the legal issues raised in the submissions. And then on Friday morning, we can meet to deliberate on the bill, have another meeting to deliberate on the 11th and the 12th of March. And then on the 19th, probably finalize the bill.
Okay, let's hear the members.
We'll also maybe have another item on the 4th or the 5th to deal with the adoption of the report.
Okay, honorable members, can we live with that? Honorable members?
Chairperson.
Silent.
Muratsetla, Chairperson is Muratsetla.
Yes.
Yes,
proceed.
Yeah, so procedurally, we may not second what has been proposed by the official, but let me rise to propose that as a committee, we adopt this proposal from the administration.
Yes, no, thank you, Honorable Masaka, because you see, I, as the chairperson, I am also accountable to the chair of chairs, Honorable Frolic, and through him to the establishment. That's why any changes that we make, we apply for permission. So I think let's accept this and then move forward. And thank you very much. May God bless you and your families and your communities that you lead, and bon voyage.
Thank you, Chair, and have a good afternoon.
Long live. Thank you very much, Lord.
Long live the Chair, long live.
Amanda.
Thank you, Honorable Gumedo. Long live.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Baba, how are
you?
Yeah,
Honorable Mahlatsi. Honorable Mahlatsi.
No,
Honorable Mahlatsi. I hope a child is well.
Bonani, are you going to stop recording? I see Honorable Gumede is still around. Yeah, thank you so much, colleagues. I just wanted to thank all of you. I think we've done our best, and we are now going to look at the proposals by chairpersons, and hopefully we will be done early so that the report is actually circulated. I will speak to Dr. Manenja regarding the proposal on the political parties, the removal of that information, so that that one gets done as well. And yes, I'm just hoping that by Tuesday we are done with these insertions that members would like to have, so that we can send the report to them. And I also want to thank colleagues because after the meeting last week, we sat and we looked at how to respond to the request. And today, our responses were actually accepted by the committee. And I want to recognize you guys and thank you for your support when it comes to that. I really appreciate it. Bonana, with regards to the numbers, you would recall that in the first report, we had the numbers there. We'll probably just insert the exact number. And then that is, we can deal with that immediately, kind of. But I will go through the report and I will go through their comments on the report and see how we can actually